Now, I've been an elected official for 15 years, first as Mayor of Glen Cove for 8, and now as County Executive for 7. I've celebrated Martin Luther King Day in my official capacity for all those years. And this, as many of you also, I know, feel, is the most special Martin Luther King Day that we've ever celebrated, certainly in my lifetime. And think about there's a Jewish expression that something is beshert, which means it was meant to happen. It was almost divine intervention. It had to be. It was meant to happen. Think about all the different confluences of events that happened in order for Martin Luther King Day to fall on January 19th this year, and for the inauguration to happen on January 20th. I mean, Martin Luther King is not always on the 19th. His birthday was actually on January 15th. And there had to be a federal law passed, and they had to decide whether they passed those federal laws about 20 years ago, and they changed them all to happen on the first Monday. And it had to work out that this Monday happened to be on the 19th. And think of all the laws that went into making the January 20th, the day of the inauguration. There was a federal law passed. It doesn't fall on a Tuesday normally, the day after the Monday celebration. I mean, just think about it. We just take it for granted about, oh, isn't this nice that this happens to be happening? I don't think things just happen that way. I think that this very simple factor, that the 19th we celebrate Martin Luther King Day, and tomorrow is the inauguration of Barack Obama, is a wonderful sequence of events. And so last night we had wonderful preaching last night from Bishop Luter from Hollywood Baptist Church, and he talked about how Joshua came after Moses. And but I thought about it myself also. Another interesting factor. Think about it. Moses was with the Jews in the desert for 40 years. Now think of wandering in the desert for 40 years. And the significance of about 40 is used an awful lot of times in the Bible, different things. 40 days and 40 nights, 40 years in the desert. A lot of 40s. Now think about it. Last year we celebrated 40 years. Last year, which was actually when Barack Obama was elected, in November of 2008, last year was the 40th anniversary of Martin Luther King's death. And after that assassination, we wandered in the desert for 40 years. And now suddenly we're here in the Promised Land, that we see this amazing change in our history. That doesn't just happen. Help me. All right, don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. Sit down, you make me nervous. All right, that's all I'm doing with that. But I mean, isn't that wonderful? If you think about it, and I've spoken here before about how we are the Joshua generation. We've got to pick up and move on. And each of us has a responsibility to carry on, because there's still so much more left to do. We can celebrate. I mean, really, let's celebrate today and tomorrow and for the next couple weeks, but we got a lot of work still left to do. And yesterday I talked about how I went to church at St. Rocco's Parish, and we have 3 readings in church. We have a reading from the Old Testament, from the New Testament, and the Gospel. And the Old Testament reading yesterday was from the book of Samuel. And in this story from the Old Testament, Samuel is sleeping in the temple near the Ark of the Covenant, and Eli is his rabbi, his master, and he goes to sleep, and he hears his name being called. And he says, "Yes, Master, here I am, Lord." And he goes out, and he says, "No, I wasn't calling you." Goes back to bed, he hears his name, Samuel, Samuel. He gets up, "Here I am, Lord." Goes out again, and it wasn't me. No, I wasn't calling you. And the third time it happened, he says, "Here I am, Lord." And he comes out again. And the master says to him, he says, "Listen, say to the Lord, 'Here I am, Lord. I'm ready to listen to what I have to do.'" And we sing in our service, "Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the night." And today, we're celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King, who throughout his whole life said, "Here I am, Lord. I'm going to devote my life to serving others and to expressing my love of humankind to make the world a better place to live." And we see in our President-elect, Barack Obama, a man who has said, "Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord." And he is out to serve the rest of us and transform not only our nation, but the entire world because of the sacrifice that he has made with his life. And our honorees today that we recognize have said, "Here I am, Lord." With the life that they've devoted towards serving other people, that we hold them up as examples today, as people that we admire and respect, who have devoted themselves to making the world just a little bit better. And even our children today that we're recognizing today, with their essays that they've written and the songs that they'll be singing, they're saying, "Here I am, Lord." They're devoting themselves to making us better. And that's what each of us needs to say. That's what the way we can really honor the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. That's the way that we can really celebrate, is for each one of us to step up and say, "Here I am. I'm here to give of myself, to take the talents that I have, to try and make the world a better place to live in." And if we all keep on board with that very simple message, the world will keep on getting better. The world will be a better place where Dr. King's dream becomes alive for every single one of us. I'm so happy and so grateful for all the volunteers, for all the elected officials that come out here and take the time to be here today, and for all of you for coming together to celebrate this wonderful man's life who's made all of our lives better. Thank you very much for being here today, and have a great day.